Okay, hey guys, and welcome to the video. We're playing Corpse Party yet again. Kind of messed up my opening. It's supposed to be welcome to the episode of Corpse Party. Anyway, we're gonna continue right from where we left off, which was, yeah, we're back in the teacher's room, which we've never been in before, but, we're going through lots of story. And, yeah, let's just continue. There was still a little time before dinner. My mind swimming, I decided I'd take this opportunity to clean out all of my notes and textbooks I wouldn't need tomorrow from my bag. Let's see, student ID needs to stay, obviously. Handkerchief and tissues. Okay. Gotta make sure I don't forget my exam ticket. Oh, and my pen case. Huh? Oh, crap! Where is my pen case? Oh, did you lose that pencil? Did I leave it at school? My face suddenly went pale. Really, I should have been too concerned over writing implements. We had tons at home. But that case held the pencil that Tsukasa had given me for guaranteed success on my exam. I have to go get it. Really? You're that concerned? Hey Mom, I forgot something at school, so I'm going to run back for a sec. What? But dinner's almost ready. That's okay, I'll come right back home. Alright. It's still raining though, so be careful. I will. No you won't, you're gonna fuck up. The pencil was one thing I absolutely needed to bring with me to the test. And so, without hesitation, I ran back down the road to school. Stupid bitch. I was sprinting as close to the full speed as I could get without slipping in the door of downpour. All the while, the numbers on my bedroom clock ran through my mind. Why the numbers? 6:45, and if Kana's story was to be believed, Yoshi haunted the school building at 7. You better hope you can get there and back before 7. Well, at least there and out. As soon as I arrived at the gate, I glanced up at the large clock adorning the schoolhouse. It was now 6:55. Yoshi after school. I went over the whole scenario in my head again, as best as I could recall it. After classes, on a rainy day, in October, 7 at night. Stop thinking about it. Did that old woman somehow know this would happen? Get a hold of yourself. Yui, it's just some old campfire tale. I was talking to myself, reprimanding myself in an effort to quell the fear that was welling up in the pit of my stomach. There wasn't a soul to be seen on the grounds, but this time, the students had all gone home. I wondered if many teachers were still around. Well, there's still lights. Fortunately, the lights were all still on, and it was bright enough that I felt confident I could make it to the classroom without freaking out. I don't know why you'd freak out, just stay calm and get in there. And get out. Okay, I'll just run up, grab the case, and come right back down. You do that, girl. I folded up my soaked umbrella and left it on the rack by the entrance. They then changed into my indoor shoes. Why would you change? You're just here for a minute. Then entering the brightly lit hall, I took another look around. Guess I was right. Nobody's home. My deep sigh echoed through the deathly silent corridor. Ordinarily, the din of... The din? Okay. The din of other students would drown out noises like this, but every little sound was coming through crystal clear at this late hour. I need to hurry. It's almost 7. I quickly bellowed toward classroom 3-4. Beeline, sorry. About the old woman from this morning. She passed away a little while ago. Well, shit. It said that one day after school, a female teacher who had been patrolling the grounds slipped and fell down the stairs and died. Well, technically she didn't slip. We all know from the first game that she, hardcore got murdered. The accident took place on a rainy October day, just like this one, and occurred at just after 7 at night. And supposedly, Yoshi still appears on days like this. Ever unaware that she died at Heavenly Host these many years ago, she now walks the halls of Kurosagi Academy, believing them to be her own. Jeez, what the hell is wrong with me? Why am I letting this bother me so much? Tsukasa was right. I shouldn't dwell on this. Well, you should. Ooh, that was a clap. Lightning flashed and thunder resounded with impeccable timing. I jumped in spite of myself. I just need to hurry up these stairs, grab the pen case, and get the hell out of this creepy building. No ghosts should show up in a well-lit building like this, right? And even if they did, they wouldn't be very scary under all these bright lights. I absolutely need that pencil for tomorrow's test. It's my good luck charm, after all, and it's from Tsukasa. I picked up the pace as I continued to head straight for room 3-4. What the fuck? Fuck, that sounds horrible. The middle school is already pitch black. I guess there really is no one around right now. Okay. And this hallway feels longer today than it ever has before. Was it always like this? Can't imagine it'd ever be on time if it were. Sorry, don't know why I was messing up so bad there. I continued my brisk walk down the impossibly long hallway toward my goal, jumping every now and again whenever another thunderclap sounded. Kirizagi Academy was comprised of both a middle school and a high school, and this evening it really felt like it was flaunting its massive size. It didn't help that my classroom was in the high school wing, which happened to be past the middle school, making it seem that much farther away. When a building that's usually so full of life goes completely quiet, it becomes such a lonely place. I swear I can hear every drop of rain. I was focused on the scant few seconds around me as I paced down the long, lonely corridor. Then, all of a sudden... What? I heard a faint noise as if someone was playing an organ. That's just my imagination, right? I mean, it had to be. There's no way anyone would still be here practicing, right? I wouldn't be so sure. I took a deep breath, trying to calm my nerves. It was probably the sound of the rain, wind, and thunder mixing together. It just sounded like an organ, that's all. I was convinced. I kept walking. But then, I heard the same noise again. This time much more clearly. It was unmistakable. I can hear... That's actually kind of a nice tune. Creepy as fuck, but nice tune. No way. I was paralyzed with fear. My heart was pounding, as if it were struggling to break free of someone's sinister grip. Sorry, guys. If you can hear my dog, just 1 second. Hey! Sorry about that. I had to move my recording spot, but in a moment's notice, and it's right next to my dog, so sorry about that. Okay. It's probably just some devoted member of the band, or a teacher who's working late. I'm just being stupid. Thinking about it, I vaguely recalled someone mentioning an upcoming performance by the Wind Instrument Club. I guess an organ would qualify. Somebody must have just stayed late to practice, that's all. I can't get that damned ghost story out of my head. I took another deep breath and tried again to calm my overly jittery nerves. Anything could be scary if you think it is. I'd heard that if you let your imagination run too wild, fear can even make you see things that aren't there. And my imagination was most definitely running wild. I'm almost there. Oh, I skipped. Okay. I decided to dash toward my classroom so I could get out of this hall as quickly as possible. Probably wasn't too important. Whoa. That was the first time I've seen that happen in this game. Awesome. Finally reaching the familiar door, I swiftly opened it and flicked on the links. Alright, I made it. Now I just have to be absolutely certain I don't leave here without the pen case again. Thanks to all my unexpected pauses to freak out over the thunder and lightning, it took me far longer than it should have to get here. It was already well past 7. 7 o'clock, huh? It was the appointed time when the ghost of the teacher was supposed to appear, at least according to the school legend. No undead educators here. Oh, no, undead, sorry. I let out a sigh of relief and relaxed my shoulders a bit. The lights were on both inside the classroom and out in the hallway. Sure, it was still dead silent, but the fear I'd been feeling had completely melted away. Yeah, there's nothing to be afraid of. The 7 wonders aren't real. I kind of think they might be. I grabbed the pen case, had come back for it, and shoved it into my pocket. Okay, mission accomplished. With my long ordeal behind me, more or less, I looked around the classroom and let out another sigh. I'd only ever known this classroom when it was bustling with activity, and thus found its eerie silence and utter stillness to be oddly fascinating. Such a strange feeling being alone in a classroom like this. I got the idea in my head that I'm trying to try doing something I normally wouldn't be able to, like standing at the teacher's podium and writing on the blackboard. Chances like this don't come around too often, after all. To me, the area behind the podium from which teachers conduct their lessons was like a scared space. I dreamed of standing there myself one day. Oh, sacred, that must have been sacred back in the other sentence, sorry, and could hardly resist its pull when presented with a rare opportunity like this. Well, no one's looking. Something's gonna happen when she stands behind the fucking podium, I know it. To my classmates, this would seem like such a silly, stupid dilemma, but that didn't change the way I felt at the moment. Should I, or shouldn't I? We're gonna... Oh, wrong button. Okay, we're gonna... Just because I don't trust it... Here's our new safe spot anyway. Just because I don't trust it, we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna stand at the teacher's podium. How can I pass this up? It's a chance to feel like a real teacher. I decided I had to try it. During daily cleanup and such, I'd come and gone from this spot countless times, but this was the first time I'd ever had an opportunity to just stand here and preside over the classroom. So, this is how it looks to be a teacher, huh? It's kind of an awe-inspiring. Gaining a teacher's point of view, in the most literal sense, was starting to get me really fired up. It may seem silly now, but this was my stage. This is where all my dreams would play out. Someday. I began to imagine the future that awaited me. Painstakingly detailed some new piece of knowledge for students sitting attentively at their desks. Gliding chalk across the board, filling it with information to aid them in their studies. I sure hope I can make the cut one of these days. There's the organ again. I was getting so excited that I even began to think my behavior was a little strange. Maybe it was just Jack's juxtaposition of these joyous, freeing visions and the prickling dread I'd been feeling up until just a minute or two before. But then, in the blink of an eye, one or two of these conflicting emotions completely overpowered the other. What the fuck? Crap. Is this a blackout? Suddenly my surroundings were bathed in darkness. Growing stiff with shock, I stumbled back a step. My back struck the blackboard with a dull thud. What awful timing! I instinctively grabbed hold of my rail. Of the rail where the eraser sat. I felt chalk dust against my fingertips. My panicked heart beating was making it difficult to breathe. Was this the cause of the thunderstorm? If so, it sure picked a fine time to turn the lights out on me. And what's more, I can still hear the sound of the organ. But no, it's an electric organ. How is that even possible? I don't know, but I liked that organ music. Oh, what the fuck? Okay. Was this what the old woman was trying to warn me about? That's impossible. She was no fortune teller or psychic, as far as I was aware. How could she possibly know know this would happen? Hell, even if there was a fortune teller or psychic, predicting the future is the stuff of science fiction. I shook my head. I need to calm down. Maybe it's just the wing that lost power, and the music room is still okay. That seems plausible, right? It's plausible, but it's a horror game. That's not what's gonna happen. You're like fucked, girl. I curled my chalk-dusted fingers into a fist and silently turned to talk some sense into myself. I've got to get out of here. I shouldn't have been playing teacher. I should have been in and out by now. Cursing myself a little, I fumbled my way through the darkened classroom. Ack! I'd spent so much time in here, you'd think I'd be able to find my way out out of it with my eyes closed, as it were. But sadly, that wasn't the case. Smashing loudly into a desk, I knocked it on its side and began tumbling after it. Instinctively, grabbed the other desks around me for support. Jesus, you're gonna kill yourself. Damn it. Sounds like I knocked a lot of stuff out of that desk. Guess I need to put everything back. Still fumbling around blindly, I gathered up all the scattered notes, textbooks, and writing utensils. Ugh, I can't tell what's what. This is so embarrassing. What the heck am I doing anyway? Wasn't I supposed to be hurrying home? I'm such a klutz. I let out a sigh. I seem to be doing a lot of that lately. Okay, this is a textbook, and this is a notebook, right? I was trying to take inventory of all the things I'd knocked out of the desk, then realized why I might as well just stand it up and stuff it all back in. I couldn't possibly organize it properly in absolute darkness. Better just apologize tomorrow to whoever sits here. Not that that was a particularly pleasant prospect. Explaining what I'd done wouldn't be easy, and no matter how I sugarcoated it, it wouldn't serve as a clear indication of my clumsiness. If I didn't say anything, it's not like I'd be found out, but that'd be the same as lying. As far as I'm concerned, I couldn't do that. Okay, I think I got everything. Well, you better hope. Okay, I placed my hand against the floor and swept it around, feeling for anything I might have missed. And I found something, all right. You gross. What is this? It's all slimy. Ugh. I'd clearly brushed my fingers across something, but I had no idea what. It was no notebook, nor writing implement. Though, that's for sure. Okay, why would anybody have something like this on their desk? Maybe it had been on the floor all along. What is this stuff? I rubbed my sticky fingertips a bit deeper into the wet spot that brought my hand close up to my face so I could get a better look at what was there. What on earth did I just touch? There was a flash of lightning, almost immediately joined with a roaring thunderclap. And with it, for a split second, the pitch-black classroom was lit up bright as day. What the fuck? God, is that blood? I shot up to my feet, utterly mortified. In that split second, I'd gotten a very good look at my fingertips, and it really did seem as if it were covered in blood. But it wasn't just in my hand. No, in my peripheral vision, where to be trusted, it looked like the entire classroom was stained a deep, dark crimson. Crap, kind of smells like blood in here too. Without thinking, I backed away from where I'd been crouching. I tried rationalizing what I saw. How could a whole classroom become a bloodbath like this? Did something spill? Did someone stumble here and injured? This is impossible. It can't be. I mean, how? My whole body was quaking. I fled from the classroom. Or rather, I tried to flee. Holy shit. What? Why won't it open? No, please, no. I don't remember locking it, and isn't it locked? And it isn't locked, so why can't I get it open? I pulled on the door handle again and again in a frenzy. I was pulling so hard it felt like my fingernails might tear loose. But it just wouldn't budge. Why? Please! I was absent-mindedly grabbing at my hair with one hand and slammed my fist on a nearby desk with the other. This was a nightmare. Please, no. What is going on? Silence saturated the inky blackness of the room. I took several deep breaths in an effort to restrain my pounding heart. Calm down. I have to calm down. I'm probably just panicking because the door won't open. I'm sure I just misidentified whatever that is on the floor. I mean, it's preposterous, right? There's no way something like that could be. I was certain that when I saw what it actually was come morning, I'd end up being something totally random, like someone's old soda-stained gym clothes. That has to be it. Yeah, or Harley just brushed against someone's paint for art class or something. My imagination was just running wild because I was panicking. And the door probably just has something caught in it, that's all. I decided to check out that hypothesis by feeling my way across the door and determining if anything was jutting out from the cracks. Damn, not sure I can do this without being able to see. I fumbled around the gaps, the gaps in the door, but I just couldn't make anything out that way. Maybe there's another exit. No, this was the 3rd floor. I couldn't get out of here without exiting into the hallway. Let me out. I want out. Still at a loss, I noticed a sudden flash of light through the hallway window, but the glass was only translucent, so I couldn't be sure if its source. Is somebody out there? Then there came a distinctive clomp, clomp, clomp of footsteps. Oh, of course, it must be the custodian. Well, I was wondering where the custodian might be. I recalled the existence of a custodian who always patrolled the school grounds. I'm sure he was probably taking a look around after the sudden power outage. Great! I'm saved! All at once my fear, addled legs regained their strength. This nightmare would soon be over. Excuse me! I shouted to the custodian at the top of my lungs through the window. Excuse me, I'm trapped in here. I had to be sure he heard me. I shouted again. Finally, I could see that the light out in the hallway again, and it seemed to be getting closer. However, something's not right about this. Perturbed, I took a step away from the window. If that's a flashlight, shouldn't it be brighter? It kind of looks like the faint, unearthly glow classically attributed to spirits. Was what I was thinking. I tried to stop myself from finishing that thought, however. Dullness aside, it also looked like it was whirling around in a very unnatural, very unflash-like way. And these footsteps. Clomp, 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 clomp. 4 clomps, then a 3 or so second interval, then another 4 clomps. They were sounding in a fixed rhythm. That's no custodian. Nobody walks like that. What the fuck? The fear was back, in full force. I had to find somewhere to hide. What if I had accidentally summoned something inhuman? I mean, whatever that was, I begged it for help. I literally invited it in. I need to hide, but where? Oh, Christ. You know, just in case, we're going to save on yet another spot, just in case I wasn't supposed to stand on the podium at all. So we have the podium, and we have this. Okay. Supply locker. I hurried, squeezed myself into the metal locker where the classroom's cleaning supplies were kept. It was still pitch black in the room, so I really couldn't spare the time. It would take to remove all its contents. Instead, I just controlled myself to fit. Okay. The locker was thick with smells of mold and varnish. If I can hold my breath for just a little while, I think it'll be safe in here. So I waited for the footsteps to pass by and faded into the distance, signaling that it was safe to emerge. Whoever it is, had better hurry. I feel like I'm going to suffocate if I'm in here much longer. Okay. Still, it felt like a lot safer in the locker than it did out in the room. But the footsteps weren't receding. They were just getting louder, closer, faster. What the fuck? Okay. And then there came a sudden halt. Oh, we're dead. They were close, just outside the locker. I peered through the ventilation holes. Amidst the utter darkness of the classroom, there wasn't a soul to be seen. I'm okay. As long as I stay in here, I'll be fine. I'm not sure why I believed that. Maybe because I needed to. Maybe because it was so dark, or because I felt so much calmer in such a tight space where nothing could possibly sneak up behind me. I didn't know why, and I didn't care. I just knew that, as far as I was concerned, I was safe in here. So I stood, motionless and cramped, and I waited. I didn't have to wait long. Oh, fuck. What was that? It sounded like a door locking. Suddenly, apprehensively, I gently nudged the supply closet door to make sure it would still open for me when I wanted it to. No, it's locked. Found you. Oh, fuck. I let out a sudden yelp at this unknown voice and tried with all my might to push the door open. Blocking my escape. No, no, please. Let me out. Let me out. Is somebody still here? You need to be punished for that. There was a brief moment of silence following the eerie voice's unsettling proclamation, and then... crash, crunch. The metal walls around me, on all four sides, began warping inward, as if the supply locker had somehow been fed into the trash compactor. Ow! What's going on? There was no force I could imagine that should have been able to do this, but it was happening. Like already confined space was steadily closing in on me. It hurts. Open the door. Let me out. Crash, crunch, the collapse of the locker all around me continued slowly and steadily. I could feel all manner of things pushing and cutting into my body. Fuck, we died. My vision went bright red. One of the blood vessels in my eyes probably burst from the pressure. I wasn't going to last much longer. The ventilation holes in the locker door were now pressed right up against my face, and through them I could just barely make out a figure of a person. It was the old woman from this morning. She was standing just outside the slats, staring right into my eyes. Should have listened to her. It was the last sight I would ever see, as this locker finally, inevitably smashed into my skull. Crash, crunch, crack, splat. Well, we done fucked up. Where we done fucked up? I'm not quite sure where we done fucked up. Wrong end. 2? That's 2? Oh, chapter 3, wrong end 2. Never mind. That was better. Okay. Yeah, just save this. Wait. Yes, just save the data. You can do that. Okay, start. We don't have much time left, but we're gonna try to progress at least a couple more. And just... Okay. Here's where we were. Now, last time we went for the locker, we're gonna go to the teacher's podium. Need to hide, but where? Teacher's podium. Probably a stupid idea. I hurried and hid myself beneath the teacher's podium. I grabbed my knees, curled up, and made myself as small as I could. What is this? What's happening? The footsteps continued to draw nearer and nearer. Clomp, 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 clomp. Little by little, the sound grew louder. Every hair on my body was standing on end. Please, just pass by. Please. I held my breath, clasped my hands together, and silently prayed. Clomp, 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 clomp. They were close now. Very, very close. Please, God! Why was this happening? I couldn't make any sense of it. I just wanted it to be over. I prayed to God that it would end. Was this what the old woman was trying to warn me about? Was this all happening because I ignored her? Because I didn't take the paper doll from her? Was it because I heard a ghost story from Yoshi and allowed it to get to me? Or did the strange events of this day have nothing to do with what was happening to me now? It feels like my heart is going to burst out of my chest. I was still holding my breath. I didn't dare let even the tiniest of sounds escape and give away my position. Tap, 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 tap. Tap, 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 tap. Tap, 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 tap. Tap, 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 tap. Tap, tap. Huh? The consistent rhythm of the footsteps suddenly ended halfway into one of its cycles. And it had ended right in front of this very classroom. Holy shit. I had goosebumps up and down my arms and legs. I stopped praying and clasped my hands over my mouth. I knew I'd scream if I didn't. Could this be Yoshi? Was the school legend real? Calm down. All I could do was close my eyes, keep my mouth shut, and hope that whoever, or whatever this was, would just go away. But the footstep sounds didn't start again. If this was indeed Yoshi, then she'd stop in front of the classroom and was just standing there. I had no concept of time anymore. I stayed in my hiding spot for what was probably only a few minutes, but felt like at least a few hours. Maybe whoever it was is gone. I decided to carefully peek out from under the podium. I gingerly edged my head out just far enough to get a glimpse of the room, when suddenly the footsteps rang out once more. It sounded like they were heading right for me, and then they might have been outside the room. I honestly couldn't tell. I scrambled back into my hiding spot and covered my mouth with both hands. This is actually kind of freaking me out. This was too much for me. My breathing was coarse and erratic, and my face was just a mess of tears and snot. God, please save me! I was inconsolable. The footsteps just wouldn't stop. What on earth was it really doing? It almost seemed like they were running around in circles just to scare me. Please stop it! Please stop it! I mounted these words over and over again, and moved my hands to my ears in a vain attempt to block out the torturous sound, as if in response, the sound changed. Holy fuck, that one made me jump. It was a loud, dull thud, followed by silence. No more footsteps. I'd heard the sound hundreds of times before. It was the classroom door sliding open. I peeked out, and the door was still tightly shut. How could that be? If the sound I heard wasn't the door, then what was it? What little safety I'd felt was pretty much gone, but to be fair, I wasn't absolutely certain the spirit had seen or heard me either. The prospect of stepping out into the open wasn't a desirable one, but I had decided it was better to stay here where I was, or to make a break for it. Okay, we're going to... Oh, I keep hitting the wrong button. We're going to save on this decision for today, and we are going to... play this again in the next episode. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please comment, like, subscribe, tell me what you think of this series. Hope to see you guys next time. Take care, and see you there.